up, y'all? Wait a minute. Why is intros so hard to do? We're going to skip the intro. And we're going to just say, how you doing? How your mama doing? All right, we're going to skip the intros. There we go. Intros cut. Let's just get down to the nitty gritty. And we're going to talk about the topic of the day. Are we homeless? So I would say yes and no. And I only have to say yes is because we don't have a physical home to go to. So let's just say if somebody be like, oh man, I'm about to go home. Well, they have an address they can go to. Now I can say we have a post office box you can go to. Don't pop up though, because we ain't gonna be there. But as far as having a home base to go to, I would say no, we don't have a physical home base to go to where we can go in and just be like, okay, well, we're going to take a week off of traveling. We're going to just, whatever. But the reason why I don't consider us being homeless is because we always have a roof over our head and it's at a resort. So, I mean, yes, some of the resorts we go to aren't as luxury as some, but we stay in a lot of different resorts, and they feel like home. So for instance, we've stayed in pretty much all of the resorts in Williamsburg, Virginia. So stay tuned to that. I'm gonna do a a resort tour of Williamsburg, which shows you a whole bunch of different resorts that's actually in Williamsburg, Virginia, if you're not familiar with the area. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I mean, for us, we travel to different resorts, and I mean, it's a fun experience for us. So like I said, we get some resorts that we don't really care for, but then again, we get some of them that we actually like to stay in. And if sometimes we like to stay in them longer, or if we haven't booked them out, let's just say if we booked out our 4 weeks and then we only decided to stay at one particular resort for that week, then we'll do a returning stay going forward or whatever. But anyways, let's just talk about how we got to this point. So a few years back, we met a couple when we were actually doing a regular vacation. We were doing a regular vacation at one of our home resorts that we actually owned. It was weird because we were taking pictures as a family, and the lady walked over and she said, you guys want me to take a picture of you guys all together? And we was like, yeah, I mean, you know how that happens. I'm sure you've been out somewhere and somebody said, hey, you want me to take a picture of y'all? But nowadays we have selfie sticks and all of that other stuff. So, but she walked up to us, took the picture of us, and somehow we just started chit-chatting. Funny thing is, she was from our hometown. So that was very interesting, and it was odd because we were way away from home, and then we actually seen them. So her and her husband was from our hometown. He was a retired firefighter, and I think she was a teacher. If it may come back to me, I think she was a teacher, but she was retired as well. And they had a little camper that they had on their truck, and they just went from different resorts and stayed in different resorts. And at the time we were renting at our townhouse, we didn't think nothing of it. It was exciting when we heard them that they said that they did this, and it was exciting at the time. But at that time, our mindset wasn't, hey, let's travel full time type of thing. It was stick to your 9 to 5 and get your vacation when you get your vacation. So that was our mindset at the time. It was never to the point of where we are now. And the funny thing is, our kids were still homeschooled at the time, virtual school. Anyway, we'll get back into that. This is going to be our first year actually homeschooling our kids, but for the past couple of years we've been virtual schooling. But anyways, but when we met them, after going home on vacation from vacation, a couple of months went by, and we started thinking. We was like, our lease is coming up. I don't even think it was a months later. I think it was like almost a year later, and our lease was due to renew. And of course, our rent was going up higher, and we just had, I don't know, it was like a light bulb, and we was thinking, we was like, remember we met that couple when we was on vacation, and they were telling us how they did out of da 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 da. We had no idea. And the funny thing about it is we didn't even get their information. We didn't know. I couldn't even remember their name. I can only remember that she was a school teacher and he was a retired firefighter from my hometown. It was nothing else about this couple that I could remember. And it sucked because I was like, I really wanted to talk to them to get some insight of what we were thinking about getting into. So it's so weird because me and my husband, we wrote a list of pros and cons to the fact of traveling full-time, doing this full-time, not renewing our lease, and just going for it. And the funny thing is he was working a full-time job that year prior to us making this decision, and his photography just took off. So that was one of the ways where we didn't have to worry about withdrawing our kids from school because they were already doing virtual learning. We didn't have to worry about leaving any jobs because he had already established his photography. And so with his photography, he was already home making his own schedule. And so I would do like gig work from time to time to just, help out with whatever bills we had. But most of the time I would stay at home because I was making sure that, the kids was getting their schoolwork done and, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, it was weird that once we put those pros and cons out and the pros outweigh the cons, we was like, okay, we, had a family meeting with us and the kids, and they gave us their pros and cons, and as a family, we decided that, okay, let's give it a run. So, fast forward, the first year, it was rough. It was really rough because all of the things that we had to learn, it was out there on the road. So, we drive everywhere we go. So most of the time it's road trips. And so for that first year, we did not know, sometimes we were booking too late, where some of the resorts weren't available that we wanted to go to, so we had to settle for a different type of resort. Or it was times the first year we stayed in hotels. Now let me tell you, staying in a resort and staying in a hotel is two different things. And I'm sure you've all went to some sort of presentation for a timeshare, and they show you that image of, resort living where you have this amount of rooms, and versus a hotel, you only have the one bedroom. That is real life. That is real life. And I'm sure that some of you have stayed at a resort. I'm sure you've stayed at a hotel. It is real life. It is 5 of us, and we have a service animal. So all 5 of us in a hotel doesn't work for us. It just don't. If I told you that we live full-time in a hotel, no, it just wouldn't, because me and my daughter, we're Scorpios, and it don't work like that. She get in her moods, and I'll be like, she's different. She's a November Scorpio. I'm October. We're different. We are different. She's a lot more moodier than me. So, but just the fact of all of us being in the same room just didn't work. So I do remember that first year we stayed in Richmond, and they didn't have any resorts there. So we were hotel hopping, and it was crazy. So for me, hotels would not be the ideal thing for me to do, especially with the five of us. But we only did that a few times that first year. Sometimes we did find ourselves staying with family members for a couple of days just until we can check into our resort, because we didn't know. We didn't know what we were doing. I'm going to just say we didn't know what we were doing at first. But then over time, so our second year, it was so much smoother. The second year was so much smoother than the first year. Of course, we learned a lot of things, and it was to the point where we knew during the summer, if we didn't book our resorts ahead of time during the summer, it was going to be very hard to find somewhere to go, because even though resorts are everywhere, but it's only a certain amount of time we want to spend in the car with the kids. Like, I don't mind being in the car for a couple of hours or 14 hours or so at a time. But we have kids and they don't like to be in the car for a long period of time. So we try to go 14 hours, probably the max of driving in one sitting. But we try to drive somewhere where it's from state to state to get to whatever destination we're trying to get to. That's how we work that out as far as going to resort. So anyways, but this second year was so much better. Going further into the second year, of course, COVID hit. So when COVID hit, it was good and it was bad at the same time. And I'm gonna say it was bad because some of the places that we wanted, one of the locations we was actually staying at ended up closing. So we couldn't stay there and book any more weeks or anything like that at that particular resort because they were closing. And so then we had to find locations that were still open, which was, I'm going to say, a good thing, because we actually found a resort that we couldn't get into because they stayed busy. If you weren't an owner there, it's very hard to get into. And we aren't owners there. So it was hard to get into. But because no one was traveling to these resorts, we were able to stay there. I think we stayed there for like I think we stayed there for over 9 weeks. And it was great. It was great. Like, I out of the whole resort, I think it was probably 5 families, and that's including us. We had a family across the street from us, and these were like cottages. So we had a 3-bedroom, and it was built like a house, which was super duper cool because everybody had their own space. We had our own bedroom, me and Jeff, and then the kids, they had their bedroom together, but they had two full size beds in the rooms. It was full size or twin size, but the room was really, really spacious. And then the 3rd bedroom is pretty much like a lock off. So it had king size bed, then it had the little den where it had the sleeper sofa. And so we stayed there for a long time, and it was good because what we tried to do was isolate ourselves, because we didn't really know any ins and outs about COVID. So we tried to be as away from people as possible. And we had stayed in the mountains thinking that, okay, not that many people here, we can sort of isolate ourselves. But they ended up closing their resort for some time. So that's what made us move over to the cottages that we went to. And it was really nice. So we were happy to actually be able to experience the resort. Now, of course, we didn't experience any of the amenities, the pools, or anything else. We could walk the resort. We can do whatever activities we wanted to do in our unit. But as far as the resort opening up to any of the amenities or activities that they normally offer, it was none of that. So it was pretty much you're just at your unit or take a stroll around the resort or whatever, which was cool with us. It was cool with us. But I don't know. We are, this December, we're going to be going into our 4th year of resort traveling. And we've we've had some good times. So I I do not consider myself as being homeless. I consider myself as being able to go and stay wherever I want. And this lifestyle may not be for everybody. I get a lot of backlash from my family members. Oh, you guys need to, stop moving around so much and make sure your kids are settled and blah 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 blah. But that work for you doesn't work for us. Doesn't work for us. I'm the type of person, when I did have my townhouse, I would change my furniture around like every other month just to make my house feel different. So I don't know. I like different. I like different. I like to be with this lifestyle. I actually like to be in different locations. I like to experience different places to go. When I was younger, my dad traveled a lot. He traveled a lot for work. It was a time where he went to Italy. Well, I had like 2 more months left in school, in high school, and my dad military. So he was very strict when it came to school. So it was, no, you can't go if you still got school. And I begged him. I was like, all you got to do is write a letter to the school and they can give me my work and I can go with you. But wasn't happening. So all the traveling he did, I didn't get to experience it. I normally would stay home with my mom and my brother, or sometimes I would go to my aunt's house. But as far as traveling when I was younger, I'm originally from Virginia. I think the furthest I went as a kid was, I went to Florida one time. But other than that, I think it was like North Carolina, which is pretty much down the street if you ask me. But as far as Jeff, he did a lot of traveling when he was younger. At 11, he went to Germany by himself on the plane. So like some of the things like that, I want my kids to be able to experience. I want them to be able to experience different cultures, different areas, and not being stuck in the same town, same city that they grew up in. I want them to be able to get out and see more. So yeah, I mean, and we talk to our kids, we make plans to see, from time to time, hey, is this something that you guys are enjoying? Do you want to continue? Do you want to stop? Do you want, we all put our input into what we're doing, and they have a say so. They have a voice of what we do. So it's just not me and Jeff's decision, because it's 5 of us. And if somebody in the group isn't happy about what we're doing, it's going to affect all of us. So we make sure that we're all in agreement, and if someone has an issue with whatever the case may be, we work it out and we make decisions based on that. But so far, so good. We haven't had any issues with any of the things that we do as far as family. So that's good. And then, like I said, we just transitioned them from virtual academy to actually homeschooling. So we're going to be homeschooling them this year, and it's going to be our first year. So if you guys have any tips as far as homeschooling, hey, leave them in the comments, because I need to know. Being that we were doing the virtual academy, we still had to take what's called a standard of learning test. So that required us to be somewhere near our hometown so our kids can do testing inside of a building. So I wanted to sort of move away from that. So I sort of like got this would have been their 7th year, and with the curriculum already on the virtual academy, it's like now I have to come up with a curriculum. And I've done some research, so I'm not as, I don't know what I'm doing to this point, because obviously I wouldn't have done it. I would have continued to do the virtual academy. But any tips from all of my homeschool moms and dads that's been homeschooling their kids for a long time, even if you haven't been homeschooling your kids for a long time, if you have any tips that you want to share, please drop them in the comments, because I am always willing to get some help, okay? But no, I just wanted to come up here and express to you guys our living situation, and to just to let you know how we got here, and let you hear me, I guess. Because, I mean, normally we're doing walkthrough videos of the resorts that we're staying at, so it's not a lot of one-on-one conversations or get to know me videos up here. So I just wanted to come up here and let you guys know how we started, what we're doing, and how it's going. And so that is about it. I will have a few more videos of walkthroughs of the front, can't even talk, from some of the resorts that we've been to. I suck when it comes to uploading. I have so much footage of so many places we visited, and the upload for me, I don't know, I think I take too much time in of trying to edit it to make it look really good for you guys. But you know what? I am going to, now I'm not going to give you the raw footage and just go for it, but at least make it look presentable for you guys. So, I mean, but I'm going to give you the real, regardless of how it looks. I can make it look marvelous. I can make it look like it's trash. Either way, I'm going to give you the real of what I think or what we think about the resort. And we'll just go from there. So I want to thank you guys for taking the time to listen. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, share, and like this video, and come on our journey of our resort travels. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.